Hey everyone, so I am doing a Nintendo retrospective for their 125th anniversary. I am playing my top 25 games leading up to my very first list video, my top 25 Nintendo games. It doesn't need to be Nintendo developed, but it does need to be Nintendo published. In today's case, we have Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World. Now this game is, honestly, I was exposed to Super Mario Brothers on NES first. This game, maybe not this cart, but this game is what I was technically exposed to first. That said, sorry, my microphone didn't stand. Anyways, if there was noise, that's what it was. So, I was actually really exposed to this more, this menu and these sounds. Like, that's how we played Super Mario Bros. 3, for example. I didn't realize that Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario Bros. 2 were on the Nintendo when I was a kid. I kind of figured that they were on the Super Nintendo. And yeah, you can see like at the bottom and see the years, and you know that the Super Nintendo was not out at that point yet. But I mean, I didn't know as a kid, right? So this is how I first had interactions with Super Mario Brothers. This little screen here where it pops up and it shows you the Goomba and the Goomba and the Koopa words. I've kind of been awake for a really long time, but I thought, I need to get some recording done. So, so this game with all the horns and the excess, sound channels is really what I remember the most. His face, God. But my mind's blanking. But when he goes down the pipe and he does the peace sign, it's just kind of like Mario. I mean, that's how we think of Mario more now. He's more emotion. He has more emotion, and he does more things like with his hands, and he speaks now. But at the time, he really didn't do too much, whether that be the lack of power for the consoles that he was on. But it was finally here where he started to have more emotion, and especially this game. This was several games packaged into one. It was Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, World, but then you also had Super Mario Brothers 2 as it was in Japan. So you had 4-5 games right there, and the beauty of it was that it was all still the same. None of it was different, right? It was all still Super Mario Brothers that you kind of knew. So all the secrets like this, right? All of this is still in here. All the pipes are the same, the mechanics are the same, the tight controls are the same for every game. But this version decided to add, I don't know how many countless, graphical upgrades. And really that's what you love. And a save and quit. Like I can just go back to the menu. Say if I was just done playing Super Mario Brothers there, but I'm still at World 4, and I can continue from there. See? Very, very handy. Something that the original versions did not have, right? So right, sorry about that. So it was a definite upgrade. These games were also good, and don't get me wrong, I love the Super Nintendo, or the Nintendo rather, but I greatly prefer these versions. Actually, what it was for this one in particular, Super Mario Bros. 2, when I was a kid, I didn't get that it was different, and considering for me, I went from Super Mario Bros. 1 to Super Mario Bros. 3 on, in that package. Well, I mean, I had the games outside of the package. Well, the first one. But when I was playing this package specifically, Super Mario Brothers All Stars, damn it! Aha! I got you. Anyways, so when I had Super Mario Brothers All Stars, I went from playing Super Mario Brothers 1, I tried 2, and it wasn't the same, but I went to 3, and in my mind was like, why? They're the same. Like, well, they're not exactly the same, but they were designed similar. Even the Japanese Super Mario Brothers 2, I was more inclined to play, even though I didn't really play it, but the graphics stuck out to me up until, I was a little bit later in life. I didn't realize that they were all different games, or that they were, one, on the Nintendo, obviously they were all different games, but two, that the lost levels were not the lost levels, that it was Super Mario Bros. 2, and that this was Doki Doki Panic. I also, thought that the games were just on the Super Nintendo. This was what they were released on. So this music is actually kind of nostalgic for me, more so than the originals, because I played these way more. This game, however, I actually played this one specifically on the GBA, and I beat it. I liked Mario games. Ah, yes. I liked Mario games. This one was different enough and interesting. I don't get to get the secret. This one was different enough and interesting that I was actually, I wanted to play the shit out of it. Oh, that one I needed to carry. Oh, nope, there we are. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. It was different enough that I really wanted to actually go through the game. And at the time, I didn't really complete games the way I do now. And actually, to some extent, I don't now either. But it was one of those things where I didn't have too many games. This was one of the games that I had, and I was going to beat it, whether it was the Mario Brothers I knew and loved or not. The other one that I played a lot and I liked was when I got my Game Boy Color, and even when I got my GBA, because I still had my Game Boy games, and obviously they were, backwards compatible with each other. Holy crap! Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. So yeah, it was another remade version of the game, obviously. It was just Super Mario Brothers 1 with the All-Stars styled graphics at the beginning of each stage. They weren't they weren't exactly the same in terms of layout. And I think it was only, yeah, no, it was 4 levels per world and then a secret world, if I remember correctly. And it was different, and I liked it. Sort of different, not really different, right? No. I just didn't realize that it was essentially a port of the first Super Mario Brothers. So I played the crap out of it, and I really did like it. I ended up beating that one as well. Not being the wiser. If I would have picked up more coins, that would have been better for I would have had more spins there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go into, let's do lost levels next. I'm not doing too much. I'm only doing the first level or 2 from each game, because this would take a while to cover all of them. Now I did a Super Mario Brothers LP, sort of. I did whatchamacallit, Super Mario Brothers crossover. Damn it, seriously, I'm not that good at Mario Brothers, but I really liked that game. And not only did I do it, I did, at this point, an extremely old version of it. There have been countless... Damn, I thought there was a... Oh, it's right here. There have been countless, patches and upgrades to that game where there's more characters, different skins. At the time I did it, though, there was only the... Damn it, I should have gone that way. Oh, no, this way is the right way, too. All right, follow it, follow it, follow it. Damn it. Oh, yeah! Nice. I keep sidetracking myself. Yeah, see, I'm not that great, but the music, oh my god, the music in these are so much better. And you can't deny, yeah, the Nintendo versions are more nostalgic, obviously to some people, but these versions are just better in my opinion. Right, what was I saying? I'm sorry, guys. I've been kind of up all night. Not really all night. I woke up at like 2 or 3, and I couldn't get back to sleep, so sort of all night. But anyways, so I played Super Mario Bros. Crossover, and I really did like it because it was different. And I'm not that great at Mario Brothers, as you guys can see. Like, I'm not the greatest at it, so I just kind of played the game. I played it as Bill Reiser. And I said during the LP too that I was gonna play it as Link and some other characters, and I never got around to doing so. And that's because Mario Brothers just doesn't do the same for me as it used to do anymore. It's not my favorite thing in the world, and I'm not that great at it. Crossover was different in that it was vastly different than these games. And I thought about doing some ROM hacks before too, but I'm not into ROM hacks, and they're very hard. So, boing. This game, I like this one a lot more. I think out of the classic Mario games, this might be it, actually. This might be my favorite out of the classic Mario games. This was, when they introduced being able to pick up the Koopa shells, and they introduced a lot more mechanics than just running, and they introduced more suits. They introduced the raccoon tail here, the P or the P. I don't know what people would really call it. I know what people call it, but people call it different things, and I'm blanking on the actual name right now. But the, is it the Tanuki? Haha, there we go. The Tanuki tail, and the coins in the shape of a 3. Yeah, and the frog and all the other cool suits. This one introduced way more into the formula. The stages, some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. And for the American and I believe the European market too, it introduced 2-player for the first time, because there was 2-player in. There was 2-player in. Damn it. Yes, there was 2-player in. Damn it. No, there's 2-player in the lost levels, but we didn't get the lost levels. Oh, and hell, they're actually not called the lost levels. They're just in Japan. Super Mario Brothers 2. They actually did end up getting the Super Mario Brothers 2 that we got here in the States, but they called it Super Mario Brothers USA. For those of you who don't know, and so it was clearly only marketed for us, and the game was shipped elsewhere, and obviously, it was Doki Doki Panic on the NES beforehand, and it probably threw a lot of Japanese for a loop. Because if I remember, Doki Doki Panic is a popular anime in Japan, or was a popular anime in Japan. A lot of things are generally from a popular anime in Japan. So probably threw them for a loop. What the hell is this? Super Mario Brothers USA, but it's Doki Doki Panic with the skin on top. Like, it probably threw them for a loop. And then we got Super Mario Brothers Lost Levels. I mean, we got it for the first time here. I believe we did get it later in its original form, in its original Super Mario Brothers form, not the All-Stars like coat of paint. On Virtual Console, if I remember correctly. We're going to go into World also. Yoshi! And obviously this is the introduction of Yoshi. Bum, 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 bum. Now, that said about the other music, this music is also very nostalgic for me because they used this music heavily in Mario is Missing, remember? And I had Mario is Missing on the DOS computer system. And you know, at the time, well, hell, even now, Mario they don't make appearances outside of Nintendo platforms. Now they're starting to make appearances in other games, but they're on Nintendo platforms still. So it was a very different time, and to see Mario on a DOS computer of all things. And I loved Mario is Missing, and I remember trying to get that damn game to play. Now this is probably a lot of people's favorite Mario game. I did rent when I was a little younger. We've talked about the timeline of my gaming history and all that. Well, there was a point when I was younger, and my parents had divorced already, and this was when me and my mom were living at my grandparents'. I didn't quite have a console of my own there yet. I did bring over my GBA from household to household because it was a handheld, and that was something that you could do. My dad didn't really want me bringing over... Oh, yeah, sorry, Yoshi, you have to go. My dad didn't really want me bringing over my home consoles. Generally, every so often he would let me bring over my N64, but if I was like really lucky. Now, I don't remember if my mom was being awesome, and she was a single mother, you know, at that point. I lost Yoshi. I'm assuming she didn't have much money. No, she never shared this info with me, but you know, I'm assuming she didn't have much money. We lived with my grandparents, for Christ's sake. I mean, she just broke her back at this point in you know, in her life. She broke her back in 99. We ended up having to move back in 2000, if I remember correctly. I don't have Yoshi. I'm not going to be able to really get them. Damn it. Oh, sorry. I was focusing on the game. I was totally focusing on the game. Anyways, yeah, we moved back in, and I'm assuming she didn't have any money, so I don't remember if it was she bought me a Super Nintendo, but I remember it going away, so maybe she rented it. And that was at a time where, you know, you could actually rent consoles. People can't even fathom renting games nowadays, or kids, I should say. But back then, you could rent consoles. That was a thing. I remember renting maybe it was renting. Yeah. Totally rented a Super Nintendo for a little while. And this was one of the games that either came with it, or maybe I borrowed it. I don't quite remember renting this one. But I don't, because the games weren't rented. I don't quite remember. It's been many years though, guys. I do, however, remember renting a GBA, which is pretty funny. I rented it before I had one purchased. Before I had one, or it was a mom thing, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I was with my mom when we rented it. I was with my grandma, and I rented a goddamn GBA. I had a Game Boy Color. Did I get rid of it? I must have gotten rid of it or something. And I didn't have a GBA yet, and I rented one. God knows that renting was a horrible idea. You never got your value out of a rental generally, especially on a console. You spent that much money to rent a console, and you only had it for a couple of days. And then renting games, you know, after you've rented the game 5 or 6 times, and there are games that I rented 5 or 6 times, you know, for people my age, that was a thing. You guys probably remember renting games 5, 6, 7 plus times. At that point, you could have purchased the game for the same price and played it a lot longer. So it's kind of insane to think about all that. But guys, that is going to be it for this episode of the Nintendo Retrospective. Remember, this is episode 18 of a planned 26. Excuse me. If you liked this episode, even though I rambled and lost my words quite often because, let's be fair, when I get really tired, my brain doesn't quite work. But the thing is I've been wanting to make more content for you guys. I've promised and vowed to do more stuff. And this is a daily series, and I've actually been working really hard at it, and it's been fun, and I've been doing it. So I was like, you know what? I am a little tired. I can work through it, bumble just a little bit, and overall probably, you know, still get something done out of it. You know what? Let's. Aha! Oh shit. Oh, there we go again. I'm just playing the game at this point and doing poorly at it, I might add. You don't just you know what? I'm gonna go up here. So yeah, so I've been wanting to do the content. If you liked this video, even though I've been bumbling over my words and forgetting some of my words, thumbs it up for me, please. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you would consider subscribing to the channel, you would also get notified when new content gets released. I would also greatly appreciate that. It helps me out a lot if you could also send it to your friends. I'm trying to spread my channel as much as I can. I really want more people to watch my content and enjoy it. So if you guys could help me with that, spread it around, not like venereal disease, that would be great because, well, it would be awesome, pretty much. Remember guys, play more games, and I will see you next time. Have a good day.